Race number one for us. We have a start time of 12:15. King's Cross at $2.80. $4.80 about Victor Vegas, but away from the favourite. Pretty open sort of a way to start the day here, Stephen.
It's 4 or 5 they've specced outside the favourite. Victor Vegas being one of them, 5.20 into 4.80. Greg in that second line of betting. Father Linehan, Robert Hannon does the riding here local. Lisa Ladder does the training here. $6 when betting commenced earlier in the week, now into $5. That includes a $1,000 bet on Father Linehan. But clearly the best back runner in the first is with Stephen Marsh, King's Cross, who wasn't seen over Ellerslie throughout the carnival. It's had a little bit of a freshen up here, Greg. $3.70 when betting commenced during the week. We accepted a $2,000 bet at that price. Another $1,000 bet this morning at $3.20. It's clearly the best back runner here, holds 50% of total turnover at a $2.80 quote.
Let's get into the speed map for race number one. Just incidentally, I thought Father Linehan was really good last time. Should jump somewhere near the speed too, along with the Bandito here, Bevan.
Yeah, they look the early pace influences in this particular race, Greg. There's a lot of money, as Stephen mentioned, on King's Cross. I thought there was one forgotten in this particular race. When I looked at the form around Piece of Cake, she was only 2 lengths off Rhinestone Cowboy at Otaki. And this performance at Te Rapa is in a very strong weight for age fillies and mares race, in behind Belle de Nord. Now, she was back last on the corner in the hands of Shafiq Rougevov, came up the inside, and for a couple of bounds in this race, she thought she was going to be right in the mix. She got Lizzie Lamore out wide. Love Affair is in this race, and you see Belle de Nord storming down the outside. But, gee, the form around this race, if any of those horses, 3 out, 2 out, 1 out, in the middle there were in this particular race, they'd be a very, very short price favourite. And that was a really good run from Piece of Cake. And the run prior behind Rhinestone Cowboy was very, very good. So I just thought she was a little bit forgotten. So I'm going to show that one to you because I think the form lines are as strong as any in this particular race. And here is the one they've come for. It is King's Cross. This is a performance at Counties back on the 24th of November on the slow 7. And it was a little bit hindered in the run, as you can see. And once it got into the race, it was very, very good. It had to pick itself up off the deck really there at the 200 metre mark. So it was brave, and gee, it stretched nicely late in this particular race after the one that had gone past it. Put about 3 lengths on it. So there's a lot of form recommended around a horse that's able to take interference, rebalance up, flatten out, and find the line really nicely. So it's on top for me. Money out of the Marsh team does mean a lot when you're looking at investing into these types of races. Thought Piece of Cake's the forgotten horse, so I'll put that in for second. Victor Vegas, very good last time. Maybe I just wonder about the better track conditions, but you can't take form away from in behind Beck in a flash. He's been very good through its entire career. And yes, Father Linehan was very, very good last time. He's not an overly big horse, but very, very competitive type of runner. So I'm up in 3 to bet 1, 7 and 5 in race number 1.
Let's have a look at the second because I'll be intrigued as to which way Bevan Sweeney is going here. We've got an equal favourite, Sir Nate, form well and truly exposed, and Miss Labasa, who's unbeaten in 2. Hard to split them, Hunty.
$2.60 each or 2, Greg. Yeah, bang on. Look, it didn't open that way. Sir Nate, $2.80 v Miss Labasa, $2.60. So a slight shortener around Sir Nate. Saying that, Miss Labasa holds 3 times more money than Sir Nate currently. And just the fact that they both come into this race on a freshen, they both haven't raced since the early part of November, just the way Miss Labasa maps v Sir Nate, I think that will declare her as a closing favourite later on this afternoon. A lot of multis suggesting that's the case as well. Emily Margaret, solid in that third line of betting at $6. Balios has been friendless, just a query on its maiden win. It was a bunch finish at HQ a few weeks ago, so that has been a notable drifter. But best lead I can give, Miss Labasa at $2.60, 3 times more money than the equal favourite in Sir Nate.
Where they land here, Bevan, is going to be imperative in terms of who we're going to back here. And outside of Miss Valencia, there's quite hard to line up where they're actually going to position up here. Help me out.
Well, I can't really help you out. I think Miss Labasa will get cover. It's an interesting race, this, and people out there will know that Jonathan's been riding both Sir Nate and Miss Labasa. It was one of those decisions where it was a coin toss. Sir Nate's been in good company. Miss Labasa seems to be a horse on the ride. That said, both of them may have a chink in their armour here this afternoon. Sir Nate's had a freshen up and hasn't had a jump out or trial post that. So he comes in fresh 1,400 metres, but geez, a tough little horse, isn't he? Rained this day, and he got that inside draw, so they used it. The blinkers went on for this performance, and look, the winner's just too good. The inside horse has got a fair bit of ability as well. So he is very, very brave to the line. You've got More Wonder out wide, who has kicked a couple of goals post this. He's a competitive horse. He doesn't know how to go a bad race, so he'll be right in the mix. And I think he'll be on target for the 3-year-old mile out of Elysion Karaka Million Night. And Miss Labassa, she knows very little, and she has had a foot issue post this performance. She was supposed to be going to the 8 Carat and a couple of other races, but she just has had a foot issue. So I'd tread with a little bit of hesitancy around backing her too strongly today, because she's been a long time away from the races. Now, this is out of her debut win at Te Awaharaneke, up to Hastings against the older horses, and she knew nothing again. She was all over the place in the run, but she was good enough to hold on and win. She will develop into a lovely, strong horse come a little bit of time, and she can run the times required to take this race out. But just, although they stand out form-wise and you have to put them in your selections, maybe this is a race you just have a look at a couple of nice horses go round, because they certainly tonight without that jump out or troll after freshen up out of Riccarton, and Miss Labassa with an issue post that last start win. I'm not sure they'll be really screwed down. They both will head to the Karaka 3-year-old Million, but they're on top, 4 to beat 1. The 3 Emily Margaret, you know this horse well, showed a lot early on, and a good quality horse, and wasn't a bad run behind Media Sensation. And then Petra Bella down towards the bottom of the book. You spoke to Leith, and clearly that win on debut was the form line to take, and it was a very nice effort on that occasion. So 4-1, 3-7 in the second.
Let's have a look at race number 3, and here's just a small field. Kalani has a good record second up. Ryan Elliott's flying at the moment, $2.40. Darscape Princess well in at $3, and $5.50 you go for Scolo and Henny, the quality mare, with a couple of kilos off Danielle Hirini, as we head to Stephen Hunt for your thoughts around race number 3.
Punters targeting 2 runners here, the 2 top line favourites, and Kalani and also Darscape Princess, Greg. Look, Kalani has obviously come back very well from the Roger James stable. The fact that the money was on first up at Te Rapa, missed the start fractionally, but gee, it was a ripping run down the home straight, running top sectionals around Kalani, and still nominated for the Telegraph at $41. Would be wanting to win this, no doubt, Kalani for that stable if they want to progress on to the Group 1 in a few weeks' time. $2.40 off a peak of $2.50, holds 4 times more money than Darscape Princess, but Darscape Princess back on a better track. We're keeping this fairly safe at HQ, Darscape Princess. We believe that's our only chance to beat Kalani at a $3 line. Outside that, the rest of the field, even though it's a small field, Greg, have been friendless.
Let's have a look at the speed map for the 3rd on the program, and you go for Scolo. We know how good he was earlier on in his career, and got himself close to $400,000 in the bank. Can he get back to his best here today? Well, if he is, to Bevan, he's a $5.50 chance.
He'll be up against it today, against a couple of smart ones. Clearly Kalani is a very nice horse. Darscape Princess is a Group 1 horse. Her preparation has just been sort of mucked up, really, for the want of a better word, through the off-track conditions she's faced throughout this preparation. She gets a good track today. Expect a much improved performance, and she'll be a couple of places more forward than this particular horse, but he is sharp. Kalani, Ryan Elliott riding for the James and Wellwood team at the present. 6-year-old gelding by O'Reilly, and gee, was good. You can't do a lot of this sort of stuff at Te Rapa. They generally kick off the front, and they did again here. And this horse, she's got a big extravagant action. He's got a bit of body to him, and he found the line very, very nicely. So can he stand Darscape Princess 2 or 3 lengths on the turn and pick her up? She's 100% ready to rock and roll, and she's had that amount of racing now to suggest she should be right up to the mark. She's got a good record at the Triple, though she's going to be better over 1,600 metres and 2,000 metres. From that gate, I think they'll be positive. Try and get her back in winning form on top of the ground. So she's on top over the 4 Killarney. Henny is a very good mare, and she's getting a couple of kilos off in this race down to the 58. And then Ugo for Scholar, if the real horse and the serious horse that we knew early on in his career turned up here this afternoon, he'd lead them a merry dance off the front as well. But 2 to beat 4, 1 and 3.
Good competitive race that will be. We get to see the very smart Cinerama go round in race number 4. We know there's been a $20,000 bet, $2.70 to $2.20, now $2.10. Jonathan Parks doing the riding, of course, and one of the reasons he's so short in the Jockeys Challenge today. $5.50, she's not bad, and then a couple under the quote of $10 at $9.50. You'll have to try and tempt the punters away from Cinerama here, Stephen.
We're trying, Greg, we're trying, let me tell you, but it just seems not to be working. Around Cinerama was a 6-figure loss back on the 1st of December at Wanganui in rating 65 company. Look, she has to step up to 72 gallopers, but Alan Sharrock believes she's black type material later on in her preparation/career. $2.70 we posted on, I think it was Thursday afternoon or Wednesday afternoon, one of those afternoons now, but $2.70 Cinerama at $2.70, $5,000 bet at $2.20, a 20k bet at the $2.70. Just crunching a few numbers, 913 multis running through her. The next best is She's Not Bad at 72. She holds $45,000 worth of money on single bets, and the total pool is $49,000. So she really does dominate betting Cinerama. She is the best backed up and down the country, Greg. She could easily start in the red later on this afternoon, Cinerama.
Judging by what you've just said then, I think it's almost a certainty, Bevan Sweeney, that she will. What about map-wise? We see her being about midfield.
Yeah, I think only the run beats her because she is drawn a little bit awkwardly. So I don't know if you can keep stepping up into 72 grade and be 3 wide the trip as this horse has been through its last couple of starts. But I expect her to win, Greg, and I expect her to make up or make it into a pretty serious sort of grade. Of course, we've seen out of She's Sensational. She's also produced House of Cartier, who has been going very, very nicely in the north. I think they'll get a bit of a hit again, the bookmakers. She's hit 3 wide the trip this day. There was 20,000 on this afternoon, and there's some fair ponies in behind her. Midnight Story towards the inside's come out in 1 cinch. Jackleberry's gone a nice race post this performance. The one in the inside was that Lubea getting chopped up as a smart pony, and she's just dead set margined them late in this particular race. Look at her stretch, and she's learning all the time. If she gets one off cover, this race is over. 6 Cinerama on top, 5 She's Not Bad, 2 The Ripper. My favourite horse in the Central Districts, the Gunslinger, and I put in the 10 down the bottom as well, Hot Fuss. I didn't think its form lines were out of a race like this, but I think she's going somewhere near the top, Greg, and so today, unless the run goes horribly against her, I think the bookies will be taking a $100,000 loss again.
Hard to argue with that, and Stephen and his team will be trying to get the punters to get involved in some others, but it will not be easy. Let's continue with our preview out of Martin and go to race number 5. Hanger the favourite here, first up in a wee while, $3.20. Blonde Line just keeps on winning, Stephen, $4.60.
Absolutely, Greg, and I think I've nailed this horse in the terms of what track conditions the five-year-old mare wants. On paper, it suggests heavy tracks, but I think in the last 12 months she's shown her best form and ratings on dead/good tracks, and she only fell in on a heavy track on ability-wise last start. So back on a dead 4/maybe a good 3 later on this afternoon. She has to be right in the mix, Blonde Line. $6.80 when betting commenced, now to $4.60, the best lead I can give you over the 1,200 metres, in front of Hanger, who currently holds that top line at $3.20. But from what I'm seeing, Greg, there's definite improvement on this individual. So maybe bet with a little bit of caution around Hanger today. Bevan Street in that third line of betting, rock solid for the Stephen Marsh team at $5.50. Little bit of specking around Casa Quidman at $13, as is Olamana also sharing that same line. But the best lead I can give you, Blonde Line, for going 6 in a row.
Yeah, certainly in wonderful form. Let's have a look at where they're going to line up here in terms of the speed, and we expect Blonde Line to be in front and giving us a sight again here, Bevan.
Yeah, and the rail out 5 metres helps a lot with Blonde Line, but it is very difficult to go, 5 in a row and step up again and weight-wise, etc. So it's to be very, very good, but the reports are the horse is still flying and she'll be in front and give them something to chase. I thought there was another one forgotten in this particular race. We will show you a few. Here's Blonde Line. Now, I'm going to take you back to the race prior to the last start run, because this was on better track conditions and a pretty sharp sort of field, and she just gave them the absolute slipper here. Got to the corner, Taike Allen just clicked Blonde Line up and off and gone. Now, if they leave her alone in front, they'll be in all sorts of strife here with the rail out 5 metres because she can really quicken and keeps up a very strong gallop. And she was brave here on off-track conditions on Boxing Day. So she's one of the big form includes in this particular race. But I thought there was others. Heng is a sharp sort of horse, and we go back to the run at the end of last preparation. Now this at Te Rapa, track conditions at this point, as you can probably see from those clods flying, we're a little bit off, but he's a smart gelding by O'Reilly. This is only the 9 starts, the 2 wins and the 4 minor placings, and he flew this day behind a pretty good pony in Power O'Hara, who you can see it not really knowing how to balance up Power O'Hara, but this horse came up the inside, off the heels, and really dug late to only go down a very short margin. Gee, like the stretch about him. He's a lovely horse by O'Reilly for the James and Wellwood team. He'll be in the mix. He may just get the sit on the back of Blonde Line. If he can stay that little bit handier, it'll be an interesting go to the line. And here's the forgotten one, Peaceful. I know she's a 3-year-old filly in some pretty serious sort of grade here. She's by Savabeel. This is the performance at Flemington. Now, she was beaten a length and a half behind Wild Planet on this occasion, and there wasn't a lot of luck here. She got squeezed up, she was in very tight quarters, and then there was just no run down the home straight. There was just no gap to go through. I think she had enough there to offer and go through if she got the right run. But watch you go to the line hard held in a pretty good type of race at Flemington. So she's got really good ability, Peace. So I'm going to put her on top to win the race from a reasonable sort of gate with the infield and Ryan Elliott aboard. Over the full Blonde Line, she may just turn the corner and be off and gone and win, but very difficult to win 5 in a row. But gee, she's really developed strongly for now Chrissy Banbury. The 6 hangers in the mix in the 1. Look, Keza Quinman will go to the Telegraph. Has to carry the 61.5 today, so expect him to be hitting the line as a preparation run to go to Trentham and take on the big guns over the sprinting trip. Greg?
7, 4, 6 and 1 first leg of the late quaddie. You might need a few in that, judging by what Bevan's had to say there. Let's have a look at the second leg, which is race number 7. This one, we are up to the 2100 metres, and a more open go here. Shared Secrets for Leith Innes, our favourite at 480, but a very loose one here, Stephen.
Probably one of the most open races on the card, Greg. Shared Secrets, $4.80 the fare, well supported, but they're specking 4 or 5 runners here, including Lincoln Star, the local, at 5.5. Lady Payton from the north, rock solid in that second line of betting at $5.50. Interesting runner here, number 11, Off With Her Head. Now, that was a late nomination into the Wellington Cup yesterday, Greg, so we included it in futures markets, currently $26. We'll have to be running at least in the top 2 here to progress onto that feature later on in the coming month. Commander Lincoln well supported at $12, currently a losing result. And also Real Beach, who got the bickies for the Punters a few weeks ago. Punters reinvesting here at $12. And just back to Peaceful, I did hear that it's Sween's top election in the previous. Look, there's no money for that individual yet, no doubting its ability. It might be a key interview if Bevan can get someone interviewed later on this afternoon through that stable. From what money's saying, it might need the run Peaceful in the previous.
Excellent information there, Stephen. There you go. Hunty's trying to help you out with who you need to interview today, Bevan, and I think it's a pretty good lead too. Abacus, Lady Payton and All in Stitches, the 3 likely to go forward. And how do you assess this one? This is not an easy race, I don't think. This is a
deep race for a 72 stayers. Gee, there's a lot of form in this particular race, so hard to really put the circle around one. And Stephen's right, if there's no money for a Baker and Forsman runner, you get a little bit concerned about its chances here this afternoon. Gee, I could have showed you half the field in this particular race, and I probably am actually, having a look at the videos I've lined up for you. First and foremost, we're going to have a look at Red Cloud now. Just forgive the run last start at Trentham over the 2,500 metres. He hated the off track and never really got moving. Big chestnut horse with a big long stride. That Shared Secrets with the blinkers on, red cap. About to hit the front there, and this horse just kept on going through the gears on the better track condition and got up right on the money line. These leading roll down towards the inside for Gary Vile. So he is a nice stayer. I know Fraser thinks this horse will get up to the cup trip of the 3,200 metres in time, maybe even this year in the Wellington Cup. So expect a better performance from him. This is Shared Secrets. Money went on at Wanganui, and it was a good ride. He got into the right spot, young Dylan Turner, and he will ride Real Beach, so that's of interest. But She's always shown a lot of ability. Since we saw her win the St Leger trial at Otaki, she can put in a rough one, but when she's good, she is very, very good, and she was a margin too good on this occasion. Now, this is a much, much stronger field, but the money on is of good interest, and she is a very good staying mare. Here's Real Beaches beating All in Stitches here at Awapuni, and you can pick up Off With Her Head in this race as well, and we're going to show you Off With Her Head at her next start. In fact, we probably don't have to. You can just watch this run and understand why Off With Her Head won at her next start. There's Real Beach in the centre of the track in the hands of Dylan Turner. All in Stitches comes one off, and Real Beach Off With Her Head is right down the outside, and watch a bit of ping about her. But this horse has been improving. It had been unlucky through its first two runs, got to this race, and under a good ride delivered nicely. Off With Her Head. That's why it won next start. And it'll be a competitor in this race, Jets Deep. Look, I've gone with Shed Secrets and not a lot of confidence. I think Red Cloud was the value in the race. Don't forget Lincoln Star as well. This horse has ability. And then I put in the 11 Off With Her Head. I've left out Real Beach, but Greg, if you like one, just take one, because this is going to be a really deep form race going forward, race number 6.
Heard Tracy Bliss talking about how they came up with Off With Her Head. I think it was her daughter who named the horse, and $26 in the Wellington Cup. Well worth having a look at if she goes well today, of course. Right, let's move on to the Gallagher Martin Cup. What a terrific contest this is. Equal favourites, Duplicity and Mental Telepathy, both out of the Riccarton Carnival, of course, and Duplicity's gone on with it from then. Jack Star, luckless last time. Linko Prince has Chris Johnson today. Where's the money coming here, Stephen? Because there is several chances here. Bellum 750. They don't stop there either. The runners under double figures.
It's hard to rule out any runner here, even including China Star, who's been spec'd at a $31 quote, Greg. But going back up to the top of the market, Duplicity, Mental Telepathy, $5 each of two. Duplicity, best back runner, most popular runner today. Probably holds around about 3 times more money than Mental Telepathy at this stage. I'm predicting a late rally for Mental Telepathy just out of the powerful Baker Forsman stable later on this afternoon. Not sure who's going to close favourite in what is a very open cup. Alinko Prince, $6. There's potential this horse could drift, Greg, from what I'm seeing. Maybe peaking for the 2-mile race, the Wellington Cup, in a few weeks' time for the Allred barn. Jack Start, $6. Well supported. A little bit surprising it's been back so heavily at Awapuni. I thought it's more of a Trentham horse, but Jack Star well supported in the line its last 2 or 3 starts. Samson, $6.50, always gets plenty of admirers in these feature cups. And a little bit of specking around Maygrove, looking for win number 10, possibly his last race start if he doesn't perform, Maygrove, but again, he has to carry top weight. But best lead I can give, in particular in the first 3 to 4 hours this morning of trading, has been Duplicity at a $5 equal fave.
Yeah, of course, Maygrove's record here at this track has to be respected alone. Let's have a look at the speed map here and where they're likely to land. Well, which one of these is going to lead here, Bevan? Because that might give us an indication of how this race could pan out. Of course, Maygrove's been the winner of 3 of 5 on the track.
Maybe Petite Anjou, Greg. Depends on which Porcelain Princess turns up today, whether she gets a little bit wound up. I think Bellum will be on speed, China Star. Sampson should get a good sit in behind them. Look, I think Jack Star will more than likely win the Wellington Cup on what I've seen through the last few starts. So this is another preparation run for him into the 2-mile feature at Wellington, but he's been good across the last couple of starts. Clearly the form race to show you was the Manawatu Cup. Let's go back there now and we'll just pick up the performances of the team. Bellum runs second. He was into the race a long way out. China Star has been a little bit disappointing. I worry about this horse with these firm track conditions this afternoon. Petite Anjou is right in the mix. You've got Jack Star back and the big boy Rock On is out towards the outside. And just watch Jack Star here. Bellum put up a very big performance, little horse who we know he can stay, and he's been a wonderful performer for the Houth team, but I just think Jack Star is building to a crescendo at Wellington. Rock On's going to go on past Bellum. He was brave, but Jack Star, there's a lot to like there. Sampson's brave towards the inside. He got held up and was a little bit unlucky in the run. I thought there was 2 value runners, and they are my 2 value runners on the program here as we have a look at the second of our videos, and this is Duplicity winning. Bellum's in the race, China Star and Jack Star again. Duplicity ran second in the New Zealand Cup and probably went up to win. Mr. Racer to Oteki, and that probably cost it in the Cup, although Biswinkle, as we saw at Stratford, just does not flinch. And Duplicity got every favour in this particular run. Just depends on what weight Ashley's trying to sneak into the Cup on, but under a great ride this day from Danielle, got a couple of beautiful splits, and we saw what Paisu did at Ellerslie, so the form is stacking up fantastically, and the horse really stretched its neck out late. Jack Star again flying, and Bellum's in the mix, so gee, it's even. I'm going to go with Jack Star on top to win today, but only just over Mental Telepathy. I want to back both of those. I think they're great value runners in the race, and I think there will be a push for Mental Telepathy late here this afternoon. Duplicity's going well, and if Sampson gets the right run, he can be in the mix, but I've gone 14, 6 and 3, but I might have even missed the winner here, Greg, in the Cup today.
Yeah, great contest. I'm sure it will be, and we'll be underway with that at 13 minutes to 4 o'clock. Let's wrap up the program there out of Awapuni today for the Martin Jockey Club. Equal favourites in the last, runners 5 and 9 here, Stephen.
Scarlowy and Paint the Town, 3.8 each of 2. Scarlowy best backed thus far out of the 2 favourites, Greg, but Paint the Town, just coming out of that Stephen Marsh barn, I suggest it'll be the better back runner later on this afternoon when this race closed just after 4:20. Original Gangster in that third line of betting, 550, got out to 6, back into 550, holds the biggest liability currently in early trading, but I'm happy to hang it out there at 5.5. My own ratings, it suggests it needs to find a couple of lengths to measure up against a few key rivals here. Original Gangster, Lisa Allpress doing the riding. Hoist has been well supported in the last hour or so. No surprise there on the back of the comments of Alan Sharrock at 5.5. A little bit of specking around number 7, Platinum Wildcard. Another local, Lisa Ladder trained here. Jonathan Riddell does the riding. $23 off a peak of 35, so there's one to include in your exotic bet types, Platinum Wildcard. But best back runner, Scarlowy, but I'm sure there'll be a late and push drive around Paint the Town later on this afternoon.
And we heard from Alan Sharrock, he's very keen on Hoist on an each-way basis today, so should be very competitive betting race. The last, the Blues, if it hasn't been your day, maybe that's the one you're on. It looks like the leader here anyway, Bevan.
Yeah, it was very good on Boxing Day on those off-track conditions. We saw it down at Riccarton as well, and went very close in one of those special condition maidens. Didn't back up, but nice quality horse. I think there is going to be a push Paint the Town after listening on the radio Pete Early show this morning. The stable pretty keen around this horse and labelled it as their best on the afternoon. But look, I thought there was a couple of locals that need to be given due respect. The first of those is Original Gangster. Now this horse, disappointed fresh up, but since then has really found its mojo. It was pretty unlucky on this occasion behind Lincoln Star. Got well back in the run, and Lincoln Star got a beautiful little split there with the shadow rolls on and was off and gone. And this particular horse, Original Gangster, didn't quite get the right run, but once it got through in the hands of Lisa Allpress, last bit of work was very, very good. So I think it's pretty good value in the race. If it gets any sort of run, I think it's going to be right in the mix and probably gets over a bit further than the 15.50. And have a look at this performance. Scarlowy last start for Colin Cromarty, who has a little team and they are really racing well. Have a look where this horse is. What's up? I'm not dropping him today. He was 3 wide the entire race on this occasion and still managed to find the line, but Scarlowy with the Santa hat on cannot run in the money at this point in this race, but just watch what he does late in this particular race to get in the mix. It was a race taken out by Bellissimo, who's out in the centre of the track early and was off and gone, but Scarlowy, look at him, he's had to weave his way through them, come back across heels there, and gee, was good late in this particular race. What you do have to take into account with him is that he's failing to jump away, and so he may just put himself in a very awkward position again here this afternoon. I'm going to go with the 9 because I just think there's going to be a massive push for it, and the form is strong. Scarlowy can win, Original Gangster as well. And a little bit further down the book I put in, where do we go after that? The 8, what's up, in fact, because I've tipped him out at 50s and I don't think he went badly at 30s again. As I said earlier, maybe he's a horse for the autumn when there's a bit more cut out of the track, but he was 3 wide the trip on that day and still managed to battle on, Greg. So another deep race, as I mentioned at the start. We've got some fields here that are pretty difficult to work out with good form.
Okay, so what's the best? Where's our value? And yeah, your $100. How are you going to get involved there? You're going to keep it pretty simple for us here, Bevan?
Very, very simple, Greg. The best is Cinerama. I wonder if the bookies will give me 270. I don't like 210, 270, be fair. Cinerama should be winning. I think Mental Telepathy and Jack Star are the value bets in race number 7. I'm keen to back both of them at $5 and $6, and we'll just go $100 to win. Start of a new season with these $100 strategies, and I think they're going to sort of keep a record of them as they do in the first call. So